It's the Morning Cryptos. It is day 150 of my 90-day challenge, and we're looking at some very interesting developments in the markets today. So let's get started. Let's start the music. Cool. So there's some kind of interesting prevalence and patterns that are showing up that I want to get into. But first, let's just look at the Bitcoin price here and hit refresh and see where it is. 15,756 according to Google. And this guy on CNBC says Bitcoin could hit 60,000 in 2018, but another crash is coming. You see, people, this is what they're so obsessed with, is a crash, when the reality is the crash is going to happen in the general economy. That's what they're ignoring it. They're not talking about it at all. Bitcoin price to hit 100,000 in the next 12 months. Yeah. Okay. Bitcoin price, live updates. Cryptocurrency value rises again. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. So anyway, let's go back to the chart. My take on all of that is that Bitcoin is kind of like the Kardashians. It gets a lot of attention, but the reality is it is something, the idea of which is powerful, the idea of which is been proven, but in actual practice, it hasn't scaled. And it kind of seems like it's not working. That may change, but at the same time, what's exciting me, and I talked a little bit about this yesterday, is a lot of second and third generation projects coming along that are taking the basic concepts that Bitcoin has proven to be possible, kind of like Roger Bannister proved that you could run a 4-minute mile. The human being can run a 4-minute mile, and after he broke that 4-minute mile record, hundreds, if not thousands of other runners broke the 4-minute mile, right? So Bitcoin has broken the trail. The reality, though, is I don't think I would want to be holding a full Bitcoin at 100,000, because there's a ton of other projects that are so much less expensive that actually do what they're supposed to do. So that's my main concern with Bitcoin, and I think it's a phenomenally interesting thing that's happening, that Bitcoin and Ethereum and Litecoin, because they have brand recognition, kind of like FedEx does way more business than DHL, right? UPS and FedEx are the main deal in the shipping world, right? Eventually, a lot of the things that don't work as well will disappear, and I think Bitcoin, unfortunately, is going to be one of them, unless it is significantly improved, and it doesn't look like that's really going to happen. So we start with Bitcoin because that's what's driving the market, right? And as we see here on the 1-hour chart, Bitcoin has moved right back up from its crash. They're calling this a crash, people, from almost 20,000 to 11,000, maybe lower, maybe 10,000. Not the $10,000 move, right? So in a lot of people's minds, that's a crash. But if you look at the big picture, let's pull back the picture. We're still pretty high up on the mountain, and there's a lot of life in this baby. So I'm using Bitcoin as a bellwether, right? And there are lots of other coins, there are lots of other projects that, in particular, people who are new to the space should be aware of, and they should be aware of sooner, because people are going like, Bitcoin, oh, it's already too high, right? And in many cases, yeah, it's too high, right? There's too far to fall, right? There's an old saying that, if you put a 2x4 on your living room floor, you can walk across that 2x4, no problem. You can put that 2x4 up a foot, and you can walk across that 2x4, no problem. Put the 2x4 up 20 feet, it's a whole different deal. Put it up 100 feet, and you're not going to want to walk across that damn 2x4. Do you know what I mean? So part of that is going on, and there's also, the other piece is that so much money is coming in, and the prediction is that Bitcoin will go to 100,000. And when it goes to 100,000, this $15,000, $10,000 thing is going to be no big deal. Just the way we felt back when it was $700, and then it was 1,000, then it was 1,200, then it was 15, then it was on and on and on. Every time it's made a ridiculously high move, we all felt, oh, that's it. It can't go any higher than that. And it went higher, right? And mostly that's why it is called a Ponzi scheme, because there's so much new money coming in that it keeps pushing the price up. And it is a scarce resource. That is done correctly, right? The only problem is sometimes it takes days to make a transaction. And who wants that? I don't want to have $20,000 worth of value that I can't do anything with, right? Does that make sense? So that's my concern about Bitcoin. Now, I want to crank through these really quickly because I want to talk about Cardano, but I want you guys to get a sense of what I'm talking about here with all these other projects at the moment, because I've never seen more buy signals in a row, right? I think we're kind of in the calm before the storm, this kind of inter-holiday period here between Christmas and New Year's, where a lot of traders, a lot of people are on vacation, right? People need vacation. And these markets, it looks like it's Bitcoin, but it's really people. And when there's less money in the market or less active trading going on, it seems to be a little bit quieter. I don't think that's going to last. And so here's what I want to show you. And we're going to go, this is Bitcoin Cash. See if I can get a better. So we had our big boost. We had that strangely weird big boost back in November. And then we passed that. And who thought that would happen, right? Do you see what I mean? It's like, huh? And we have kind of settled into this nice consolidation place. Man, I'm grunky. Now, this is the lines I drew yesterday. We had 1, 2, 3 tops here, basically, and rising bottoms. And now we have to adjust it because we had rising bottoms. And then it kind of took off a little bit, but it couldn't quite get it going, right? So that to me is indicating that, okay, the sideways trading range might actually be a little bit more like this. There's a top, and here's rising bottoms. No, that's more of an anomaly. Okay, so we're gonna play with this, and we're gonna go, okay, we still have tops. We could call this a triple top still, and we have rising bottoms. We do have this kind of little mini sell-off, but you have those sometimes, right? Particularly on a 1 hour chart. And the question is, what's beautiful is it's come all the way back here. This is a perfect entry spot for when it pops. Do you see this? I mean, it's already gone up to here. It's already gone up to 4,000. And it's going to test that again. It's going to test it. So you know that if you got in today, and I'm already in, unfortunately, right? And this is me. I'm learning out loud, people. So understand that I'm not telling you to do anything here. I'm just showing you what I'm learning in a way that hopefully you can learn it as well, and maybe learn it faster than me, so that you don't have to go through all the experiential stuff that I've gone through, or maybe you'll have to go through it as well, right? And maybe down the road you'll go, oh, I remember that crazy guy with the coffee said this, right? Okay, and it might make you some money or save you some money. So this is a really good entry point to get in. There's so much support here that I'm not too concerned about it going down. And we have proven that it can go up this high to 4,000. So that, to me, there's plenty of money to make between 2,000 and 4,000, right? So that's what we're seeing in almost all these markets. All right, so that's Bitcoin Cash. Let's go to Bitcoin Gold, which is Bitcoin Gold is a little slightly different. We'll go to the one-day chart here, in that it's doing its sideways trading range on a one-day chart, and it's still a good time to get in. That's the beauty of a quiet week, right? You have time to think, right? You have time to ponder, and that's good for some people and not good for other people. Some people think too much, right? I got in right here on Bitcoin Gold, and my intention is to ride it up to here, up to this $405 mark, and take half of it in profit to see if it will go up farther. If it goes up farther, I'll wait until I can see a good exit point, and then I'll take the rest of my profits and I'll put it into something else, right? For me, Bitcoin Gold is not a long-term hold. It is something I am trading, right? So I'm practicing my entries and exits. But again, I'm seeing all of this as practice because that's what it is. It's just practice. But there's enough room between these 2 points to make a decent profit, right? So then when you go to the 1 hour chart, you can see we are really, really in a nice, tight little sideways trading range right at the bottom of this channel where that yellow line is, okay? That's a buy signal. It's got a ton of support. It has not dipped, even in the worst of the worst thing, it only dipped a little below this line, right? And my take on this is that, January 2nd, people are going to be back to work. They're going to have their coffee. They're going to have their morning meetings. They're going to, maybe by lunchtime, wherever they are in the world, they're going to go, wow, I should get back in, right? There's a good buy signal. So that's what I'm thinking, right? I could be wrong because no one knows the future, but that's what I'm seeing in these patterns, and that there's plenty of room and there's plenty of time at the moment to get yourself set up so that when the next move happens, you're in profit everywhere. And unfortunately, this is like the only project where I got it in a sweet spot. And again, this is my first big pullback. So I'm learning. All right, so let's keep going. Going to go to Dash on the 1 day chart. We're beginning to build a little bit of a sideways trading range on the 1 day chart. And if it stays sideways for the next week, that's going to be sweet. Let's look at the 1 hour chart. And on the 1 hour chart, oh, look at this. Same thing, right? Every day. I've said pretty much the same thing here. But just in case you didn't watch all my other videos, right, we have that same kind of upward wedge thing. And what's nice is it's not going parabolic. It's a little quieter, and it gives you time to look at the pattern. Go, yeah, I think this baby's going to pop. And this is not a bad place to get in, which seems absurd because it's like $1,159 for Dash. Holy crap, that's a lot. However, it also went up to 16, close to it, right? So we have, let me see if I can, where's that drawing thing? Oh, there it is, right in front of me. So we have this range, to boost. Yeah, we do. That's what I said. I said we did. So it's showing up pretty much everywhere here. So let's crank through these. EOS on the 1 hour chart. Well, we got to pull it back so we have a consistent pattern observing process here. So EOS already is pretty much on a sideways trading range. You can tighten it up if you want. Get rid of the wicks and just kind of dial it in a little bit here. My theory, my prediction, my anticipation, my intuition, whatever it is that I'm trying to do here, is that EOS probably for the next, until after the new year, it's going to keep, it's going to stay in the sideways range. And again, that's what I think, people. It's not a fact. It's what I think. Right? It's my opinion. This is not to be construed as financial advice. Right? It's also not a guarantee or a promise, and that's what I like about these markets. There's no guarantee. So on the 1 hour chart, we kind of have to wiggle the line down a little bit and wiggle the line up a little bit. These are the things that show up as wicks on the 1 day chart, but they don't show up as wicks on the 1 hour chart. Okay, so nice sideways trading range. A better place to get into EOS would be down here on this line. But to be honest with you, it's not a bad spot to get in if you think it's going to pop. And we have rising bottoms as well in this channel. Right? Boom, 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 boom. So that's the kind of deal. But I'm already in EOS, right? And I got into EOS down here. So I got into EOS, when is this? December. Yeah, back in the $2-3 range. So this is the one project that I haven't sold a single bit of. I've just been holding it and holding it and holding it. So what I'm seeing is, I would like, if I were to suggest you get in, I would suggest you kind of hang on a little bit, at least for the rest of the week, and see if it comes back down to this line. But it might boost. But the thing is, it's already been as high as 12, and so all of these old highs are going to be resistance, and where it is now is going to be support, and we have a lot of support here. So there's nothing to say that it can't get up here and start playing around up in this range. And if you buy here, you're in profit once you get above that line. And EOS is a good project. It's a new project. It's a third generation project. And it's not at $15,000 yet. It's at it's 8,000 cents, $8, right? So it's just a different psychological place to be in. Plus, it has the scalability problem solved. They can do millions of transactions. I don't know if it's millions per second or hundreds of thousands per second, but it's still quantum leaps ahead of where Bitcoin is. But again, Bitcoin has the name, and people think they know what it is. Just like people think they know what hypnosis is, but most of them don't. All right, so boom, EOS. Nice sideways trading range. Pretty much the same thing I said yesterday, and it'll probably kind of hang like that for the rest of the week. Ethereum, kind of interesting. We had this rise, nice steady rise yesterday, hour by hour, with a few little sell-offs. But it could be, I would be willing to, I don't know if I want to bet money on it, but I would be willing to assert that Ethereum in the next week I'm going to come back down to this line. And if it does, that's a serious buy signal. It might even be a serious buy signal here. But that's the thing to keep an eye on. If it comes back down to this line, people, let me draw arrow. Comes back down to this line. That's a serious buy signal for Ethereum, because then we have all this room that it's been really testing its level at, and there's room to move. All right, let's pull back to the 1 day on Ethereum, because I didn't do that yet. All right, so looking at the 1 day chart, it doesn't look likely it's going to come back down to this line. right? However, Ethereum has a lot of the same problems that Bitcoin has, maybe even more problems, because it's constantly getting hacked. Its network is being clogged with the crypto kitties, and so it's the same kind of a deal. But it's the second thing that people learn about. I remember I got into Bitcoin, and there's this thing called Ethereum. What's that? I hadn't heard of it. Oh, you can do smart contracts. What are those, right? The things you don't know when you come into the space. So on the one-day chart, it looks like that's way too much of a range. It's probably not going to come back down here. But if it does come back down here, people, don't be alarmed. Just buy some, right? And will it go higher? Will it boost to 1,000? It probably could. It's already been up as high as 880, and we know that's where it will test it again, up here. So that's Ethereum. And basically right now, I'm seeing Ethereum and Bitcoin as things that I have to use in order to buy and sell the other cryptocurrencies. Does that make sense? I kind of feel that way about the US dollar too. I would prefer just to use my cryptos to buy stuff everywhere I go. We're not there yet, right? Ethereum and Bitcoin are the currencies in the cryptocurrency space. So in that manner, at that place, they are valuable, and they do really a very valuable thing. And if you're doing it, if you're trading on an exchange, there's no lag, there's no wait time, because you're not actually owning it, really. The exchange holds all the keys, right? And that's the thing to remember if you're new. And something for me to remember is you don't want to leave all of your crypto on an exchange or on one exchange. And you don't want to leave it all in a hot wallet, right? Once I get to a certain place, I'm going to start taking a certain percentage off the top when we have the next move and I have some profits. I'm going to take a chunk, and I'm going to take a chunk back out to fiat to basically pay myself back for the money I invested in the beginning, which I don't think have to pay tax on if I'm just reimbursing myself. And then I'm going to start tucking it in a cold wallet somewhere. So I want you guys to start thinking about that as well. And there's the Ledger Nano, and there's the Treasure, and there's some other things you can do. You can even just set up an old laptop that doesn't connect to the internet, that you don't look at porn on, that you can tuck your cryptos in as well. But also, you can memorize your keys and hold it in your head. That's the other thing that we might have to do at some point. IOTA, same deal. We've had this big boost, and then we had the sell-off. But we have support. We have serious damn support here. And on the one-day chart, and let's go to the 1 hour chart. And boom, cowabunga, baby. See, it did exactly what I've seen these do over and over again. Excuse me. And we did have a boost yesterday, and it came all the way back to its boost off spot, right? So now this is a little bit of support. I would be willing to bet that IOTA is just this is a tease, and there's not enough energy in the market to move it. But by next week, we might be ready to pop, and it's low enough, even even at this point, $3.97, right? And this again is a Generation 3 project. It doesn't use the same things that Bitcoin and Litecoin and Ethereum use, right? It uses something called the tangle. And I don't know if that's in addition to the blockchain or instead of the blockchain. That's technical. But the deal is, and this is why I like Cardano so much, is that these new projects get the job done in a way that's scalable, right? And so keeping an eye on IOTA, and I have some. Unfortunately, I think I'm in up here. And so I'm not on the money yet till it does boost. But this is giving me the confidence I have to have so that I can feel like, you know what? It's going to boost. It's just a quiet time, and I'm going to be in the money. I just need to kind of sit tight with it and just hang on, right? Because I'm not out of the money by much. All right? So you want to have some patience here, and sometimes that's the hardest part, is to not trade, to just kind of sit tight and wait. Litecoin, same deal. Do you see how the patterns are just showing up over and over in all of these? We had a bit of a boost yesterday. It's almost more like a little bit of a channel squeeze here. I mean, and that's why I draw these lines, not because they do anything significant other than just kind of frame things for me. You go, okay, what if I look at it this way? What does that mean? Okay. And the thing is, this is a good entry point. And the other piece is psychologically, hypnotically, we're getting used to the new price level. It was only a couple of weeks ago that Litecoin was $50. Let's pull out the view, right? I got into Litecoin here in August, and this is where I started seeing the sideways pattern. Is back here, and when it got into this area, I sold, right? And then I bought back in up here the other day. But I was trying to find places to move my Bitcoin, because I just felt like Bitcoin was really going to tank, and I didn't want to be holding the bag. I had almost a full, not a full. I had like, did I have almost a full Bitcoin up there? I don't know. I had a lot. About a third of everything I had was in Bitcoin, and I was really exploring how I felt about that, and it didn't feel good. Whereas I sleep like a baby when I'm invested in these other projects. But when it's up like this, it's a little crazy. But again, Litecoin is something that I would use. I would use Litecoin to move cryptos over to Coinbase, then to get out into fiat if I needed to. I would not use Ethereum necessarily, and I would definitely not use Bitcoin, because the minute you start sending Bitcoin, it just slows down. It's just a pain in the ass, and I won't use it. So Litecoin at the moment is the thing that would work, or Bitcoin Cash if they actually have it at Coinbase and not just at GDAX. I haven't checked. So again, on the 1 hour chart, Litecoin, is looking like it's setting up for a move. And I could totally be totally wrong, and we could enter a bear market after this. But I kind of doubt it. I think after the new year, there's going to be more news. There's going to be more money coming in, and people have been talking to all their relatives over the holidays, and they're going to go, yeah, after the new year, I'm going to get into this, right? All right, so let's look at NEO. Oh, what a surprise. Same deal, right? It's on the 1 hour chart, on the 1 day chart. I think we're setting up for some movement, people, and we shall see. And like I said, I would prefer a nice sideways trading range, and maybe that's what we're going to get in the next week. Omise Go, same deal. I hope this isn't boring to you people, but this is when it's boring, when things are quiet, that's when you are setting yourself up to make the big bucks. We could kind of change this line a little bit. And this one here, we could either look at it that way, look at it this way. I mean, there's lots of different ways you could kind of construe this, but either way, this is nice in Omise Go, It's not just sideways, it's up. And again, we have this kind of double top, almost triple top kind of situation. You can bring it down here, and you can say, okay, there's a top, there's a top, there's a top, there's almost a top, there's kind of a top, and it's, let's see if I can make this a little bigger. And not a bad place to get in right now, right here at 14-ish. 1485, really. It's more close to 15. And the thing is, I don't even look at the numbers, and that's one of the things I've been also trying to impress upon you guys. You don't need to be a math genius to do this. If I know where I've gotten in on the chart, I don't even care how much profit I've made. I just know when I'm in profit. You know what I mean? And it's that to me, it's working. And yeah, I do need to be more disciplined, and I'm in my journal, I'm writing down exactly what price I'm getting in so that I can look back and go, oh yeah, I made, 100% on that. I made 200% on that. I made 75% on that, 20% on that, 10% on that, whatever. And my minimum thing is I want to make 20% before I'm even going to consider selling part of a position. But I do want to be consistent and start taking profits and protecting those profits when they are there. And I think we're setting up, right? And again, we don't know, and we'll see. Every day we get more experience, and every day we get more comfortable. At least I'm speaking for myself, but hopefully you guys are as well. And my team is definitely, has come a long way. All of us. There's 4 of us now. And there's a couple of my friends that are very, very new that I'm kind of mentoring a little bit. And of course, they started opening their accounts right as things started falling last week. Right? So, and there may be some anomalies where it falls below this line, but, or it may start going really sideways. Either way is fine. It's building up some pressure so that it can pop. And so I'm on Quantum, by the way. I forgot to tell you that. I just went to the next one. I do this so fast during the day, I just kind of skip through. I don't obviously explain it. And hopefully this is helpful to you guys. And please, if this is helpful, let me know in the comments below. If this is too long and you're not interested in it, that helps me to know as well. I don't want to beat a dead horse, but I want to share with you the authentic, real stuff that I'm doing. And that this is not entertainment. This could make you money. And when people realize that, they will invest their attention. And I really appreciate you guys sticking around and watching that. So Quantum, and the thing I've liked about Quantum from the beginning is that it has been pretty good about these sideways trading ranges. And again, it is a Generation 3 project. And they have been working diligently to solve a lot of the problems that Bitcoin and Ethereum have, and that's a luxury. The third generation is really the way to go. And this just occurred to me. It could be kind of like UPS was first, or let's say the Postal Service was first, right? And then UPS was like, I think we could do a better job. Cheaper, faster, better. And then UPS came in, and the Postal Service kept going. It's just UPS came in, right? There was room for both. And then FedEx was like, I think we can do better than UPS. And so UPS is still in business, but it had to up its game to match a lot of what FedEx does. And the post office had to up its game, right? But the post office is still the post office, right? So I kind of think the analogy here is that Bitcoin is the post office, Ethereum is UPS, and some of these new projects, and we don't know which one yet. I'm hoping it's going to be Cardano, because they are scalable, they're interoperable, and the third thing I forgot yesterday is that they are sustainable, and they're taking all of the best innovations from all these other blockchains and projects, and they're integrating them along with the kind of due diligence for their software that that software for, let's say, jet planes has to go through. So it's a much higher level of assurance. They use the word assurance. But the bottom line is, while they're all figuring that out, you and I can actually make a living. We can make an amazingly enjoyable living watching history unfold. And I don't know, I like that a lot. Okay, let's go to Monero XMR. We had a nice recovery. Monero's just been steady up. Of course, we had the big fall. And it's just these corrections are so normal. And it's just the news like makes everything into a crash, into a disaster, right? And again, Monero, Zcash, I think Verge, there's a number of coins, another number of projects that have privacy kind of built into them. Now this is a little different here. Notice we had on the 1 hour chart, let me draw another little line here. We had a channel up, and then we had, let's move this out of here. Then we had a real, honest to goodness, kind of a sideways little channel here, which was up as well. And then a boost, right? And I see this over and over and over again. That's a place to get in. And if you're day trading, you don't need 5 days, of setup to get in and get out, right? And so that's what happened here. This boosted, and people already are taking profits, right? And it may boost again. And I'm in Monero, and I don't know where I'm in at this point off the top of my head, but I might be in the money at this point. Or I might have been at the top. I'm probably at the top. But again, everything I do, the more I trade, the more I learn. And this is one of the best places you can go to get experience. And I remember I used to paper trade futures commodities. And paper trading and just standing on the sidelines, you can learn a lot, but eventually you got to get in the water. Eventually you got to start swimming. And it's not until you start swimming that you can learn how to avoid the sharks, right? Or the piranhas, or the rocks, or the currents, or all the different things you're going to encounter that you won't know about until you just get into it. All right, so that's Monero. Not necessarily a good place to get in, but if it comes back down to this little sideways thing, boom, get in. And again, that's a note to myself. Now Ripple lifted yesterday. I saw it was going to go, and I just didn't have anything to buy it with, right? And that's why once I do have profits again, I'm going to keep a war chest, either in US dollars over at Coinbase or in US dollar Tether, some kind of a liquid fund that I can use when I see a bargain or a buy signal, or when we have a pullback, so I can buy the dips. And that's just new. And I've talked about it kind of along this whole process. So if you've been watching these, that's what I'm talking about doing. And most seasoned traders already know this stuff. But you got to learn it sometime. You got to learn it somewhere. You got to learn it somehow. And I'm not suggesting that you do everything that I'm doing. I'm not suggesting you learn everything I'm learning. But I'm doing my best to just absorb as much information and then kind of share the highlights with you. And any piece of this, you can dive deeper and do your own research and make your own decisions. Okay? So Ripple, if Ripple comes back, definitely, if it comes back to this level, and it's been playing with this dollar, this is a big even, right? And the next spot is $2, is the next big even with Ripple. Let me pull the map back. I call it a map. It's a chart. People call maps charts. Why can't we call charts maps? Right, so we're kind of coming up on the, and that's the other thing I like about Ripple, is it gives you some time, we kind of have some resistance here at the 114 range. I took profits at 120. And this is where I kind of locked in. Okay, I'm starting to get this game now. I'm starting to get what the rules are. So this may still be a good time, if we have a nice sideways range within these two spots here. Might be a good time to get in to Ripple, because I think Ripple, it's got so much volume, and obviously you look at down here, you can see the volume's a little bit low. It's the holidays. That's the only deal. That's what's going on. That's the fundamental behind the technical. That's Zcash against Bitcoin. Let's look at Zcash on the 1-day chart. We had, let's see, 1 hour chart here. So we saw it pop, but the reality is that the lid is really more up here. Maybe it's an upward channel. Those are cool. I would say, watching this line, when it comes down to this line, that might be a good entry point. I just kind of feel like Zcash, kind of like some of the others, is I think it's a good, decent price where it is, but I'm having a hard time imagining that it should be or could be worth more. But we went all the way up to 734, so we have room between here and there to test it at least, and maybe it won't sustain up there. But if you can get in down here and hold it until it gets up here, then sell it, boom, you're doing okay. All right, so that's it for the big group that I study and watch all day. And back to Bitcoin. And yeah, we're back to Bitcoin. So that's it for now, people. I hope you have a good day, and just check out Cardano. DataDash has a wonderful interview with Charles Hoskinson, and also if you type in on YouTube Cardano white paper or whiteboard, there's a really good article there. In fact, I'm going to Cardano whiteboard. There's a couple of really good talks. I'm watching another one now by the lead developer of Cardano. But just go to YouTube, type in Cardano whiteboard, and watch this one, Overvirw with Charles Hoskinson. This is pretty amazing stuff, and I'm going to I'll put the link below. Let me just do that right now. I'm thinking about it. So I got that on my copy. So when I upload this video, I'll pop the link below. But you can just use your search feature, right? And this guy, Charles Hoskinson, is really good explaining stuff. And look, there's a TED Talk by him. I want a TEDx talk. I'll check that out too. So do your due diligence, people. Pay attention to what's really going on with you and how you feel as you do this and the things you're learning. Keep a journal. Start keeping track of what you're doing. If I could give anybody advice, it would be open your account at Coinbase if you haven't already done that. Download the Exodus wallet. Get yourself set up on Bittrex or Binance or both. And GDAX also. Although GDAX, it might be a good place to start on GDAX because you only have a limited number of projects. But I wanted to get into these new ones. I wanted to get into these ones and get in on the ground floor of some of them. And a lot of them, I think, are going to go they're going to pop after the new year. So get yourself in a position so that you can benefit from this space. And again, I'm not advising that you buy Bitcoin. I really That to me is like, I'm only in Bitcoin right now when I have to be to sell a project, take profits, and I'm going to put it into something else that feels better to me, right? Unless I can do it at a time when I can catch Bitcoin at one of these drops. But we'll see, and we don't know. Bitcoin may go into a little sideways pattern for a little while it really locks in its level. So we don't know. So it unfolds every day. We don't know what's going to happen, and that's what makes it so addictive in a positive way. That's why people can't put a really good book down, or why they can't stop playing video games, or why they can't stop doing drugs, because it feels so good. This is a way better drug. Crypto porn, maybe you might call it. It's some people like house porn. I like crypto porn. And it's the cool thing is this can make you money. Learn and learn and learn and learn and learn and keep learning, people. That's my advice for today. And I'm going to follow my own advice as well. So thank you very much. This has been the Hypnosis of Money, the Morning Cryptos, the Crypto Cranker's Guide to the Bitcoin Galaxy of Greed and Grooviness. And I am so grateful that you've been here. Peace, grooviness, and all that kind of stuff. If you like this, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe. And please let me know how you're doing, what you're thinking. And it's one of you folks, and I need to figure out who it was. And if it was you and you're watching, please let me know who it was that first told me about ADA, Cardano, because I'm hearing a lot of different people talking about it. So that's the buzz. And that's going to make the price go up. And right now, where are we? Right now, and by the way, this is a chart of basic attention token. You can see it's kind of doing the same thing as all the others are. And I have a lot of basic attention token. I got it down here. Actually, I got it probably farther down here. And I'm holding basic attention token. I've sold some of it, but I'm holding most of it. And let's just go to ADA Cardano. And I'll just leave you with this suggestion that if I could give anybody advice, you have to buy it on like Bittrex or Binance or someplace. Right now, it's in a beautiful sideways trading range. And it is 40 cents-ish, 41 cents at the moment. People, this is not going to stay down low for a long time. It may have a sideways trading range for a while, but I have a feeling after the holiday, after the new year, this thing is going to really pop. And it's going to go to $100 at some point. This is one of those projects. You hear people talk about getting in on Bitcoin when it was $3 or $30 or whatever. This could be, and we don't know, but it could be the next thing that really has legs. All right? Because it's sustainable, it's scalable, and it's interoperable. And they are bringing such a rigorous program and development pattern to this. And evidently they have a great wallet. I got to check out their wallet. I may want to just stick my Cardano in the wallet and just take it off of my trading thing altogether. Or I may take a little profit out as we go. We'll see. All right, so just learning, people. Learning. Have a great day. Peace, grooviness, over and out. Go ahead and start the music.